So I was giving him the money, that I had, but
Was
it wasn't
that
enough for him.
Was that a pimp relationship or what?
Not yet.
Oh,
Not till one day I got back home and he
Okay.
goes, "You can't get your kid back until you give me $200 a day."
Wow.
And so that changed everything. My heart dropped, my world dropped, my stomach dropped,
So
just everything.
your son's not at home?
He
Or
was
he
there.
was there, but he said, "I will." Like, you have no choice but to leave him with him.
Right, because he was not working.
Hello and welcome to The Movement, a podcast to resource, empower and develop leaders in the fight against human trafficking. Today we have a very, very special guest. I always say very special, so you get two. Dr. Nissi Hamilton, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, David, for having me.
So good to have you. And you're going to get a special guest bio readout, which I don't normally do, but this was such a cool bio. I was like, I'm just going to do it, which usually I'd ask you to do all this, but this is way too nice and you'd feel bad if you said it all about yourself. Okay, Dr. Nissi Hamilton is a 5-year survivor of labor and human trafficking whose escape came through enlisting in the U.S. Navy. Now a decorated Navy veteran. I said veteran.
Yes.
Inside joke. 2-time Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award recipient and fierce juvenile justice advocate, Dr. Hamilton fights for the decriminalization of exploited youth. Founder of Nissi's Network, she empowers the children of traffickers, prostitutes, and victims through the prevention-based youth-led reform. With 2 official days named in her honor in Houston, her work stretches across continents from the Texas capital to HIV-stricken communities in Uganda.
Yeah.
Her story redefines what survivor leadership really looks like. Wow. That's a lot.
Sometimes I don't think I'm the person that you're reading
know.
about.
You know what I say when they do those things? When you speak, they do a whole readout, and I once said, "This is really what my mother likes. Like, no one else cares. My mother cares, but no one else cares." So then I read someone else's out once, and I said, "What is this? Did your mother write this?" And the guy, he's British. He thought it was funny. He leaned forward and he goes, "My mother's dead." And I'm like, between us, funny.
Yeah.
Dark humor. In a public setting, not funny. Terrible.
Okay.
Anyway, all of that to say hello and welcome to The Movement, our little podcast.
Oh, thank you. It's not little.
Yeah.
It's grand.
It's going to be grand.
Yes.
More people will watch.
Yes.
So you are doing a lot.
I do.
That was hard to read, never mind the fact that you're doing all that stuff.
Yes.
Let's begin. You want to tell a bit of your story. What on earth happened?
My trafficking started all because of homelessness.
Really?
Yeah. So I aged out of foster care, but I didn't do it quite the way everybody would expect.
Yeah.
When I was in foster care originally, I went in as a victim child. So I had a sane nurse because I was raped going in.
So so help us understand. So that's a category in foster care.
So that's not a category yet.
Okay.
In foster care.
It needs to be. But you were a victim child coming in.
Yeah, I was a victim child going in. And that's how they explained it in the actual documents.
How old were you?
I was 11.
Wow.
I was 11. So
wow. And what had happened?
So I was raped by a downstairs neighbor, and my grandmother decided, that she didn't want me to stay at home.
She felt it was too dangerous.
Well, it wasn't. Well, it wasn't that it was dangerous. It was like, I was more of a risk than I was an asset.
Oh, okay.
To the household.
Wow.
During that time, and so she thought it best to just get rid of me altogether.
There's a line.
And
there's some therapy just there.
I know, right? You didn't want me.
Welcome to the Movement Therapy Show.
Okay, hello, hallelujah. I'm so glad I'm healed.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, and I can only imagine, people hearing this who have, masculine wounds or
Yeah.
just dealing with the false feminine. I know me and Tina,
Yeah.
we were just talking about that, dealing with mother issues, mother line issues, things like that, not being properly mothered correctly, not being properly nurtured, and things like that. Just that disconnect, and the only woman that you have in your life, which is a second mother, your grandmother,
That's
you
deep
get
stuff.
rejection from there. So it's like rejection your mother not being there, then rejection on the other hand, your mother's mother not being there.
Right.
And
Beginning of your story.
whew,
Deep.
Lord.
I think everyone knows this, but parent relationships are so deeply entwined in our being.
Whew.
People don't even know sometimes, but in the space you're in, you'll see it all the time.
All the time.
In my life, I see it all the time. It's just who people are. Is a lot ties back. So 11, you're dealing with that.
11, I'm dealing with that. Going to court by myself.
Wow.
No family support. My best friend was my sane nurse.
Yeah.
So, and I was actually able to get my offender, convicted.
Nice.
So after his conviction, though.
So you had to sit through all that. You had to face him in court.
Right, and I testified. So,
Crazy.
because I'm a minor, those records are sealed.
Right.
So, but, needless to say, he was convicted. So we were good there.
Yeah.
But when the case was over and it was time for me to go home, I didn't have a home to go to. So I actually lived in CRC, what they call it, Chimney Rock Center.
Okay.
So I was there on Chimney Rock, which is like one of the places that the presumed culture around Chimney Rock is that's where the pimps go to meet the girls. The girls are running away from there. And it didn't used to be like that when I was there. So this is really,
so it
crazy.
wasn't where it is now.
Right, definitely not. Definitely culturally, just
different city, really. I mean, a lot changed.
A whole lot. Just going through that transition, I didn't have anywhere to go. So I ended up in foster care because I didn't have a home to go to. And throughout those years of transition, my grandmother did end up fighting for me to come back home. And the judge offered me a condition that I could be emancipated or basically divorce your parent. I had to divorce my mother in order to go back home. And because at 14 years old, most people don't know that you can make a decision in court at 14. Here's a caveat about that. At 14, you're still considered a minor. And at 14, legally, your parent or your legal guardian is supposed to represent you or get representation for you. So I really don't think that children should be allowed to make those type of decisions in court when it comes down to, something as big as divorcing your parent.
At that age.
Yeah, at that age. That's a lot.
I think most 14-year-olds, no matter what's going on, have a feeling of, I think I could do better without them. Because you're entering that foolish teen world.
Absolutely. But it's such a critical world. And I ended up making a decision not to divorce my parent. The Bible says, honor your mother and your father. We don't get to pick our parents, but you're obligated to honor them. And so,
did you have a spiritual foundation at this time?
I didn't.
Yeah.
But when I was a little girl, I used to play church, and I used to pretend like I was always the pastor.
Well, there you go. You knew it was coming.
I knew it.
It's just in your future.
Yes.
That's
well,
funny.
That's true. Cause
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. But I knew about the different pastors that was not online but on TV during that time.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, the Benny Hinn's, the TV Jakes, the Juanita Bynums, those are the people, the Creflo Dollar, I grew up in that era with those.
And you're going through channels in those days,
exactly.
You're going to bump into someone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got all these televangelists, going on in the Black community.
Yeah.
We rely heavily on God. We rely heavily on church and just being able to be grounded, right? So this is where we get our moral perspectives from and stuff. So I always had a moral perspective about certain things, even though I wasn't raised in a good environment, right? This is us speeding up stuff 3 years into the game, and 14 years old, I end up going back home to my grandmother. So, but the decision that I made was to not divorce my mother.
Right.
And from there, the courts were kind of just like, we wash our hands of you kind of thing. Because, you didn't do what we wanted you to do. We wanted you to divorce your mother.
That's what they thought was best for you.
They thought that would have been best for me. But I didn't think it would have been best for me to be considered an adult because that's what emancipation is.
Oh, yeah.
You are an adult.
And you knew you were not.
Right. And then there would have been a separation from me and my family if anything else had gone on. So I was like, no, I would rather stay connected.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 months after I ended up going back home to my grandmother, she died from breast cancer.
Wow.
And when she died, her children
Soon after when you got home?
Soon after, 9 months later.
Wow.
9 months later. And soon after, that happened, her children then did not want to take me into their home. So then I ended up homeless.
I'm 15 or 14
14 still.
Wow.
14 still.
So what did that look like?
Oh, a lot of couch surfing.
Yeah.
A lot of talking to teachers, telling them what's going on. Teachers trying to keep me active in, extracurricular activities at school, mainly so that I can eat and so that I can at least take a shower.
Yeah.
And things like that. So
get you some cover.
Right. That's the. I mean, I lived at school. I stayed at school. I don't even know how I got through it, but I did.
Yeah.
And stuff. So, and was still maintained the honor roll and things like that. For a long time, I slept behind a Walmart that was on West Road on 45.
Did you go back there and go right there?
I do. I got a chance to talk to some Walmart executives, and they were like, "Oh my God, Nissi," So they've worked with me and just kind of walked with me through some stuff. They've donated some things to me for survivors and stuff like that. So it's just been great to be able to have that healing journey. Yeah. I think the best part with me and the one particular executive from Walmart, I got a chance to meet them through the women of AT&T, Lolly. Shout out to you, Lolly. But is I got a chance to tell them that I was sorry for stealing all of their stuff. So
that's funny.
I used to steal like soap, lotion, deodorant,
just
toothpaste.
Surviving.
Just surviving. And I was like, look.
What are you going to do?
Right, exactly. And they understood, it was just like, oh, the fact that you got the strength and the courage to come and say something, And I was like, look, whatever recompense I need to do, this is what I did. I was a child, but I want to, admit this to you. Whatever you need me to do, I'll come do something for free or whatever. They was like, no, we totally understand. But thank you for letting us know that this is what it is so that we can figure out how can we help more in the community. Good. So that was refreshing.
Yeah, that's the right response.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
They're
like, great, we got a job for you. You can greet for a couple of years. It was just a bar of soap.
Oh, Dave, you got a weird sense of humor. You ain't never lied.
That's true.
I got to stand at the front door. Oh, that's horrible.
Now you'll walk in, you're like, did you do the soap thing? This is how they get greeters.
That's how they get greeters, huh?
No, it's not. Just for the record, not.
It's not, right.
Making it up.
No, yeah, they know. This is just a joke.
Yeah.
But so, just a lot of couch surfing and things like that. And, one thing led to another. A lot of times when you're at different people's houses and they want to, not get rid of you, but, basically tell you, yeah, you've been here long enough. You worn out your welcome. I need you to kind of move on.
You're going to start feeling that every time as it's coming up.
You're
like, oh, there's going to be a day.
But then, you didn't have to dread it because they would give you what that warning looked like up front. And it was like, oh, well, if you stay here too long, then you might get pregnant or you might, they start throwing at you all of these other, possible realities and concerns, that can open the door for all of these other things and stuff like that. So, and so my mindset was, oh man, well, if I get pregnant, then maybe I just won't get kicked out of somebody's house then, because I'm still a child. I still have a child mindset, but I'm in survival mode.
Yep.
And I'm not at the place where I can manage and assess risk or conflict on this level. The only thing I was trying to assess and manage was just the homeless part. Yeah. I wasn't trying to
just survive, sleep.
Right. That was it.
Get clean.
And be able to go to school in the morning. That was it. As long as I could stay in school, I was good.
Did you enjoy school?
Oh, I love school.
It was a happy place, eh?
Who are you telling? Lord have mercy. Yeah, school was still fun. I loved my teachers. I enjoyed learning. I still enjoy learning.
And did people know that your home circumstance in school?
Oh, they knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew it. They absolutely knew it. Until I got pregnant. That's when things actually changed because, I thought that I could fight homelessness with pregnancy. And I've always admitted to that. I've always admitted that part of my journey. Yeah. And I've always taken accountability for that. I think that's kind of what shocked everybody because they're just like, they'll listen to my story and they go, "Oh, what happened to the baby?" Well, he's a 22-year-old now, so he's not a baby anymore. My baby has babies, so I don't have grandbabies. So
the good news, you started early, so the grandbaby stuff, you're still enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. I'm a 37-year-old grandmother. I've been a grandmother for 4 years now. So it just sucks that. So my kids, babies' mamas are old enough to be my mama. So
stop. Really?
So they hate
and you just said it online. See?
They don't like taking pictures with me.
That's funny.
Because people end up thinking that I'm their daughter too,
I know,
and
right?
I'm like, no,
just like
I'm their mama.
Sure, I am.
So I don't really
funny.
care. It is funny because it's
it's wild.
It's an oxymoron.
It's good. It's a good story. You got good stories.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
So then, what happened? You get pregnant, and how does that go?
I get pregnant. I'm still in school, and I end up taking my baby to school with me in a purse. And
like they don't know?
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, what are you doing?
Remember they had the boho bags. You could put the purse in front of you, or whatever. And so they had these swaddling little things. Yeah, they knew, but I put my baby right there, and I would go to school because I still needed to eat.
That's great.
But what I didn't consider was daycare.
Yeah.
Or anything else like that.
Was there options?
Not at that time. Not during those years. Not in 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Somebody ended up calling CPS, which is Child Protective Services, on me and said that basically I was endangering my child.
Yeah.
And so what the school allowed me to do, which was totally illegal at this time, but they allowed me to do it, was to unenroll myself out of school. So that I could, I guess I could have a better chance. I didn't have to worry about truancy officers trying to come get me, for missing so many days of school.
So they let you exit quietly?
They let me exit quietly. Absolutely.
Wow. So now you're a mom.
Now I'm a 15-year-old mom. I wasn't even a mom for 20 days, and I was sued by the state of Texas.
How does that work? Explain that.
Well, they sued me for child endangerment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're on the street this time?
I was on the street. I was still couch surfing and things like that. I mean, I had somewhere I could go because nobody wants to put out a girl and a baby and stuff. So, I mean, I had somewhere I could go short term. But, I think the biggest issue is that my state sued me. So, and I wouldn't necessarily say the state, but, for sure, CPS used the power of the state to sue me, for things that they didn't have grounds for, and for things that were just totally untrue.
Yeah.
So
you lose your baby?
No, I actually didn't lose my baby during this time. The judge gave me some requirements.
Okay.
He told me that in order to keep my baby, I needed to get a GED. I needed to get a job. He didn't care where the money came from, and that I needed to put the money in a bank account so that I could show fiduciary responsibility.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on. Heat is on. Let's go. And so I ended up going to my church, telling my church what happened to me. And so they connected me to another young lady who we were around the same age. And she had 2 children. Okay. And they were thinking maybe she would be a good help for me, or maybe she would be a good mentor for me. And I ended up living with her. Yeah. But lo and behold, she was being pimped out. And I still don't know what pimping is. Like, I understood pimping, but I didn't understand what the grooming process looked like, or if somebody living with a pimp or anything like that.
I think most people walking into it don't know, and that's how it works, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you don't know these people are weird. Like, you
don't
only
know the rules. You just trying to survive.
Right.
Build in relationships. You don't think about what it means.
Absolutely. So I ended up living with the young lady, and she was like, well, yeah, you can make some money. And I was like, well, how? And she was like, you just work at a strip club. And I was like, but I don't have an ID. She was like, here, you use my ID. I'm going to use my ID for this strip club, but then you use my ID for another strip club. And I'm like, okay. She was like, yeah, you just go in and you waitress and you make your money, and that's it. And I was like, that's it? She was like, yeah, that's it. And I think the conversation is when people just make it sound so easy. Sure.
And it solves problems.
Oh, my God. Well, the biggest problem is making sure I appease the judge. So
I get it. You got the pressure on. You got to get some money somehow.
Right.
This sounds like just waitressing.
Right, and just waitressing.
Sure.
Oh, it's harmless. So harmless in a sexually oriented business. It's so harmless.
No big deal.
And so I ended up going through that process. I mean, it was easy, you know, as long as you're cute, you're skinny, or whatever, you're good to go.
Yeah, that was the interview.
That was the interview.
Yeah, you've passed.
You passed. That's it. You're cute.
So you started that?
Yep, I started doing that for a little while, and at this time, her boyfriend was keeping my baby. And so while her boyfriend was keeping my baby, you know, I wasn't used to the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
And hospitality in the sexual oriented business is a little bit different than, not a little bit, a lot of bit different than just working at a regular restaurant.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of gatekeeping in the sexual oriented business.
What do you mean by gatekeeping?
Well, you got to know who the police officers are.
Oh, okay.
You got to know when the raids are happening.
Oh, okay.
You
so
got to know.
That happens.
Right. You got to know when
police are coming in to check up on what's happening. Is that normal?
No, I mean, they might come in there for a table dance. They might come in there
okay.
because they want to know who the strippers are. They might want to come in there because they get ready to do a bust.
Yeah, you don't
or something. Like the waitresses, you got to know a lot. You know, you got to have the bubble gum and the cocaine and the drink correctly. And
really?
Yeah, I mean.
I know, I'm sorry, but really?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to know what the girls need. I mean, you cater. If you're a real waitress in a sexually oriented business,
yeah,
you got to know what the girl needs, because when she gets what she needs and she makes her money, then you make your money as the waitress.
Okay.
But if your girl not making money, then you don't make money.
So you're serving the strippers?
You're serving the strippers, but you're serving the guys that are coming in there for drinks.
Right, but for the stripper.
But for
she's who you're working for, basically.
Right. You got to
make
make
them
sure
happy it works out.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
15 years old.
15 years old, and you got to learn the game quickly.
Wow.
Quickly. You throw, I mean.
New language, new everything.
Oh, everything.
New behaviors,
it's a
new
different type
culture.
of lines then.
Wow. Man.
Absolutely.
So you're just trying to pick it up as quick as you can, like I need the money here.
Man, as quick as I can.
Yeah.
And I wasn't making as much money at first because, you know, typically when you go somewhere and you're the new person, people don't trust you. You have to build trust.
Yeah.
And not only do you have to build trust, you have to build alliances and stuff. You gotta.
Sounds like a TV show now. Now you're like,
God.
It's all the intrigue of who's with who and how that works.
Now that is a real TV show. If you did,
we got ourselves a show. Let's not do that.
If they did a show about the waitresses in the strip club,
someone's got to have done that. You would think. I don't. It's all news to me. It's interesting. Wow,
honey, it is thug life. So you know, and some waitresses have it good. You know, once you get over the political side of all jobs and all positions, no matter what you do, there is politics in what it is that you do. But especially when you're doing, when you are basically a freelancer in the hospitality industry and you only making $2.15.
That's a setup.
Oh, you already know it. I mean, but basically all waitresses, and that's $2.15 now.
Yeah.
We was making what, $1.25 back then. You make $1.25 an hour, and because they was counting how much you was gonna make in tips.
Sure.
So,
wow.
Everybody was fighting.
I got questions I don't want to ask.
Oh Lord.
That's wild. Okay.
So I was there for a little bit. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't making a lot of money because I didn't understand the politics of it. I was new. There was no trust built, no alliances. And I really didn't understand, you know, like there's a war inside the war inside the war.
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to seeing that much drugs and, you know, that many girls being drunk and high. I didn't know what the hell a shift drink was, you know. A shift drink? Why you got to, first you get to work and you get a drink already? Like, why you need a drink? Well, you know, you got to get your mind ready. Get your mind ready.
Wow.
Yeah. It's it ain't another room. It's another realm.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
That's what it is. And so whatever little money I was making, I was bringing it back in good faith to the boyfriend.
Yeah.
So it might have not. I might, in a 1 week, I may have made maybe $250.
Yeah.
So then I would give him $60 or $70 of it. The rest of it I would put in the bank to show some type of efficacy to meet the judge's demands.
Sure.
Because I wanted him to know I was serious about keeping my kid.
Yeah.
And the fight for keeping my kid arose in me even more just because no one fought for me like that.
Yeah.
Nobody kept me like that. Nobody, went the
make
extra
up for
mile.
all that. You know what's missing.
Right. I mean, and it wasn't just so much trying to make up for it. It became my fight because my mother didn't do it. It became my fight because my grandmother didn't do it. So while I was fighting one war, which was stuff that I had done to myself just because I was trying to fix homelessness, I'm accountable for that. Yeah. This was my grandmother's demon. I was fighting. This was my mama's demon. I was fighting.
You have done the work.
Who are you telling?
Because you know what that was, and that's people don't work that stuff out. But
they don't.
You've done the work. Yeah, good for you.
For sure.
That's tough.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so where does it go from there? You're giving money.
So I was giving him the money, that I had, but it wasn't enough for him.
Was that a pimp relationship or what?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not until one day I got back home and he goes, "You can't get your kid back until you give me $200 a day."
Wow.
And so that changed everything. My heart dropped, my world dropped, my stomach dropped. So just everything.
Your son's not at home?
He was there.
He was there, but he said, "I will." Like, you have no choice but to leave him with him.
Right, because he was not working. And I didn't, at that point, it wasn't at that point that I realized I was being labor trafficked.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got to the strip club crying because I realized because I couldn't get my kid back. If he's got me, so I want to put in perspective for you. This, for the enemy, this was a checkmate. I was a prime victim. Yeah. Number one, I got CPS going on. Yeah. CPS do house visits, so they have to know where you're living at. Mm-hmm. Number two, the court is involved, so I can't switch addresses because if I do, then I look unstable. I was a prime target. I was prime real estate for a pimp. Then I had no parents.
He's put all that in his mind in this journey. He's like,
he knew. This was intentional.
It's a purposeful journey that you didn't know you were on until it was too late.
Absolutely. He didn't even have to calculate the risk.
Yeah.
They laid it out for him. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he knew that's the whole thing about pimping. They know what to do with your life better than you do. Yeah. And because they appear to have a better answer for you because they're constantly conversating with you, that's the number one that is the number one gift of a trafficker is communication.
Wow.
Just that physical communication. And a system, he's available.
A system that you don't know exists.
Right. And they privatize this system. And they privatize it even more just because psychologists and science says that today's world, that parents spend about 24 minutes in one day with their child.
Wow.
24 minutes, that's it? That's all they get? So if you only get about 24 minutes because of your work schedule and what it is you do, and you got to cook food, and you're raising multiple children, and you got employees, or whatever your position is at work, and everything it is that you have to manage and maintain already just for you to get through the day, and what you got to get through just for you to be you, by the time you get ready to extend yourself, you only got 24 minutes to extend yourself. That's not including if you go to school or if you work a double job too, and if you got to study. 24 minutes. Well, how much time does a trafficker have with your child? All day.
Wow.
They got all day,
all night if they want.
All day, all night to figure out how they want to abuse the system that you have been working hard to curate for your children to have a good life.
Wow.
They done figured it out.
Yeah.
Because we don't have time.
That's it.
That's it.
End of show. You got it.
Oh, I got it. Oh, hi.
You win the prize. Yeah, that is it. Like, that is the system that we're in that makes this easier for people to traffic.
Oh, absolutely. Even if you look at the word human trafficking, the word alone trafficking has nothing to do with transportation, but it got everything to do with people. So you would think we would use another word for it.
You would think.
But we don't. So then you have to break down the word, right? Because I'm an educator, so.
Do it. Bring your chart down.
Let's bring it down.
Let me see. Let's point at the things.
Let's get you some academia.
Okay, teach me.
So when you break down the word, we're going to break it down 3 different ways.
Yeah.
You have human. You have traffic. And then you have the word king.
Ah.
Okay, so I'm
I see where
Jewish.
you're going.
I'm Jewish, so we read everything from right to left,
Yeah.
opposed to left to right.
Mm.
So here it is. You have a king who moves people.
Wow.
That's human trafficking. And one of the things,
And when you say moves,
move right, because traffic, a
Mhm.
king who moves people. And so
like players on a chessboard.
like players on a chessboard, absolutely. Absolutely. And we keep saying pimp, but we have to acknowledge him for who he is and who he's commanded by, right? He's not commanded by our God, but he's commanded by a God. And who would that be? It would be Mammon. Why? They want money. They want lucre. It's just filthy. And what are we taught? The love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
What do they need more of? They need more money. In order to get more money, what do you need? You need more people.
Yeah.
And so they have all these systems that they've broken down into how they run their kingdoms.
So does it work above the pimp? Is there a system above the pimp?
Absolutely. There's a system in the heavenlies. There's a system in the cosmos.
I know that, but I'm asking: are there people they pay? Is that a structure?
Absolutely. That's how you get. That's why.
Is that protection, or how does that work when you get above a pimp? What is the structure above that?
Politics.
Okay.
Your governors.
You're gonna say that stuff on air?
It's in the Bible.
But so there is a system of payment above pimps, or is it just there's sometimes
Absolutely.
they're just people making money because they've seen it work?
Absolutely.
So, but they pay other people?
If they want to.
Okay, so I'm trying to work out: is there a structure above all this, or is it just a bunch of different people running separate businesses?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a separate business, but it's illegal.
For sure.
And
so it builds into an illegal structure.
Right, but it's a territorial structure. So pimps need territory. They're not for our people. They're not for your daughters, or for our daughters, for our women. For their goal is not to protect anybody. Their goal is to protect their particular infrastructure and the stuff that they have. And for instance, we have our Bissonnet, we have our track, right? But Bissonnet ain't the only track. You got Fondren, you got Cullen, you got Richmond, you got Harwin.
Their own kings.
Right, they all have, because they have territory. Kings need territory.
I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going? And so people are not thinking about that. They just thinking about, oh, it's the pimps. Oh, it's the prostitutes. No, every street I just named, they have pimps that govern and rule those particular territories.
How does it work then with hotels and all the other places that trafficking happens? Just other kingdoms, or how does that work?
Well, yeah, I mean, all kingdoms need people to come into agreement with them so that they can do what they do. Yeah, this stuff happened in the Bible. When we see Eli had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, and they had a church. And on one side of the church was for praise and worship, but the other side of the church was a strip club. And they was getting money, in the strip club. They was using the money, whether they was using the money to fund the church or whatever it is that they was doing it. And God specifically asked Eli, you ain't gonna check your sons? You ain't gonna check them for what it is that they was doing? They did it. Aaron built a strip club on the side of the wall when Moses went up to the mountain to go pray. They went and did it. You ain't gonna check them? Okay, they did, and they did even worse because they built the calf and the golden calf, and they went to go worship. They did all this stuff. The reason why we don't see it as pimping, the reason why we don't see it as trafficking, is because we don't see the pimp as a god. See, gods need you to come in agreement with them. That's why you give them their money. So a pimp is a god that is here on earth.
Wow, that's wild talk.
Okay, so the way it works in a strip club is there are two gods that govern the strip clubs, and that's the Ashtoreth and Baal. The Ashtoreth was the representation of a naked woman, while Baal was a representation of a phallus or a pole. So when the woman gets naked and gets on the stage and comes into agreement with the pole, that's why she dances on the pole. When men come up with money in their hand and they pay, that says on the back of it, "In God we trust," and you paying homage to two different gods.
Wow.
So that makes what? Worship. And so then you wonder, men lose 4 different ways because before a man makes his $1, it's taxed 6 times before he makes it. You're going to take that $1 that's taxed 6 times before you make it to give it to another person who is in constant agreement with another deity who that dollar ain't going to be taxed at all, and then you can't even write the dollar off. You done lost. And then who you took the money from? Your wife, your kids, everybody else. The Bible said a man who don't take care of his house is worse than an infidel, an unbeliever. So why you didn't bring the money to the storehouse like God told you to? So this is a worship to a demonic kingdom. The enemy needs you to come into agreement with him so that he can tear down your private walls. The Bible says that a man without self-control is like a city with no walls. He's telling you what's happening. How you gonna be in a building with no walls? Right? He talking about your personal house, your walls in here, your heart, your eyes, your ear gate, the things you do, your hands that make you productive. You know, one of the first men that we seen in the Bible to be trafficked, we didn't even see him as a trafficking victim, which was Samson. And what did the Lord say? He said, look, don't be marrying these kind of women. You know, he didn't do it once, he did it twice. What did they do? They ended up chaining up Samson because they wanted to afflict him. How did they afflict him? Through sex. They put him in jail so that they can have him have sex with all the Philistine women because they felt like his power came from God. If those women could take his DNA and they can have babies with them, then they can build a whole army out of those children with the power that Samson possessed. But they needed the DNA to do it. Okay.
I told you were a preacher.
But that's trafficking.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I know, yeah.
But when we read the story, we're not thinking.
No, you don't think
no man could be trafficked. We completely dismiss all of that. So
how about
while we are talking about it, we don't talk about the men.
Let's talk about the men.
Yeah. I mean,
because there's a subject that doesn't get covered
at all.
And it's funny because you observe in telling people stories, you talk about young girls, that's terrible and sad and very hard for people. Then you say boys, and it's unacceptable. Well, wait a minute.
Absolutely.
What was going on when we talked about girls? So society-wise, that's a shocker. So it's happening.
Absolutely.
Right? Not covered well, not a lot of care services for boys.
Not a lot at all.
If any. Little. I can
think
it's harder a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just harder for boys to come forward with it.
So this is something I've observed talking about this. When I talk to men on the side, has to always be on the side, they will say, well, we've all had things happen to us. Really?
Right,
Because they don't talk, right? So men don't talk about things. But they all have these different experiences that they aren't talking to anyone about.
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole neat area that we don't fully understand.
Well, it's hard for men to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think with the pimps, I think because they were vulnerable previously and they've been hurt. Most pimps have mother wounds.
Yeah.
And their wounds come from their mamas. You can always tell the man that's a pimp, he got to disconnect with his mama. But the man who wants to provide and do good and and stuff, his ways look like the pimp, but he got a father wound.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is distinguished, but sometimes it's undetectable.
Yeah.
Because when people are abused for a long time, they end up being abusers.
Yeah. Not always, but yes.
Right.
Because that's one thing I've learned, because I used to think it was always, but it's not always, but yes.
Right. And it's hard for people to manage destiny when they can't get over the disappointment.
Yeah. Well, it's the parents always. That's the deep rooting connection for everybody. And
right.
And interestingly, we're not in that subject today, but men who deal with sex addiction issues. It's
Absolutely.
nothing to do with sex.
Absolutely not at all. Especially like men who dive into porn. The enemy wants to control him with porn.
Yeah.
Buying porn is no different than participating in human trafficking.
Right.
You just buying through media, and you got Lord, it's just so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about. Go on.
Media is a demonic interference, right? We see media in the book of Esther, and most people don't even realize media is even in the Bible, right? And we see media partnered with Persia, the Prince of Persia, who was so strong that he stopped, an answer for a prayer coming through. And we see, Archangel Michael having to get in there and intervene. So then what we understand is media is a vehicle that could be used by God or it could be used by the enemy, either or, but it can be used. And when we see people coming into agreement through media for trafficking purposes, then we know, okay, well, this ain't God doing this. This is the enemy that's behind this. But what do you need to worship? What I tell you needed to worship? You need money. So now you got two other demonic entities involved. You got mammon and media. Oh man, this is why when men get caught with sexual just deviations or anything, any type of debauchery, who when the girl tell a story, where it go? To the media. And then what gets involved? Money. This is why these two people, media and mammon, they working hard together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To destroy who? The man, the perception of the man, to emasculate the man, to make sure that the man is not the head of household. You got to remember, the enemy wants to come after the head of household, because if he can get the head, he can get the woman and he can get the children. But he got to make sure that the head is weak at all times. So men that suffer with porn, or these men have deep covenant with God, but the enemy wants to translate deep covenant with deep fantasy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These men, they have a deep desire for intimacy. These men are typically men that are lonely, and they lonely, but they have a big heart and they want to love. But the enemy wants to confuse that love with everything that's temporary. Right? That's, I just want to get off, or I just want to do this, temporary or whatever. But the Lord told you, don't spill your seed on the ground. Why? Your DNA was important. If we was having more of these conversations, then men would be like, oh, I'm that important to God that he want me to spill my seed on the ground? That'll make somebody think twice about doing it. But them not the conversations that are being had, because they're not thinking, so all I have to do is trade my pornography habit for deep intimacy with God. I really am a covenant type of person. I just been in agreement with another God. I need to break free from this.
Well, I've had these conversations with people who deal with sex addiction and kind of gone, does a man have to crash to start his journey? And funnily, people who work in that space are like, yeah, he kind of does. I'm like, it can't be true. Can't be true that men have to crash.
So yes and no. So let's take David. Not you, David, but
not me.
David,
but let's say there's a David in the Bible.
Yeah, David in the Bible. David had that crash time with Bathsheba, and while we all confront David with raping, needless to say, Bathsheba, meaning that because he was the king, she could not say no to the king. We really have not concerned ourselves with Uriah's position. Uriah would have been considered the king's guard. And have you seen the Game of Thrones?
No.
You haven't seen it?
Sure.
Oh my God, David, you gotta watch the Game of Thrones.
You can't make me.
You are missing out on so much good info.
Okay.
So this character in Game of Thrones, his name was Jaime Lannister, and so Jaime was the king's guard, guard. And so the position of the king's guard was you couldn't wed and you couldn't have children. So the way I understand it is Uriah was somebody who was so important to the king that he was made for war, like he was made to go out on the battlefield first. But he was so loved by David that the king allowed him to have a wife. He just didn't have no children. So when we look at Uriah's position, the war was already happening before Bathsheba was even a thought. Okay. Uriah gets ready to go to war, but Uriah thinks to himself, and this is really why I just love Uriah, and I understand why God loved Uriah too. He has a conversation with his wife, because he doesn't have an insurance policy, and he's left her absolutely nothing. But he knows that he's got to go die. Now listen, I know everybody ain't gonna agree with the way I'm telling you this story, but I just want you to think about it for a second. How else would Bathsheba would know to be in David's direct purview? How else would Bathsheba know what time to be naked on the rooftop so that David could see her? Here it is, David is looking through a window. This is voyeurism at this particular point. So this is not only voyeurism, but this is porn, right? This is porn. He didn't have to buy it. He's the king. What did he do? He took it. Hey, go get her and tell her, come here. Why? I like what it is that I see. But while it happened, what was David's crashing point? He got Bathsheba pregnant. And then he tried to tell Uriah to go sleep with her. But Uriah wouldn't do it. Oh, okay, cool. He went back on the front line and then he died. But what happened? David was so sensitive to children. Why? Because his father abandoned him as a child.
Sure.
And when David found out that Bathsheba was pregnant, he went and hid in the cave because he was like, oh my God, what have I done? Uriah dead. I done got his wife pregnant. I need to repent for God. This is his crash.
Yeah.
And he hid in that cave until another prophet told him, hey, this baby gonna die. And David had to come at peace with that. And once he came at peace with that, because that hurt him to his core to see something happen to a child. Then he got back in the game and he was like, okay, God, I done reconciled myself with this. Let me get back to a place where I can heal. Who did God use to do the healing? Bathsheba. So that's how she got pregnant again. And then they had King Solomon. But he crashed. Voyeurism. And then he was looking through a window. Okay. So when I pull up my phone, right, and I open up Safari, and I click this little thing right here. What is this called? What is these two little things called?
A page.
No, it might be a page.
It's a window.
That's right. But how many windows I got open?
I can't tell from here.
385.
That's a lot of windows.
It's a lot of windows. David was looking at one. We can look at 1,000. So could you imagine the turmoil that our men are going through, that they have multiple windows to look at now?
Sure.
Now do you see it?
Yeah.
That window was a technology, and it's still the same technology that's being used today. Yeah. And we wonder why we don't work out our deliverance through fear and trembling. Because you ain't got to be scared of the one window that David had when I can open up 1,000 windows. You understand what I'm saying? So there is a crash. All men experience a crash. Samson experienced a crash. Abraham experienced a crash. It don't matter how you want to look at this.
That's how it's going to be.
That's how it's going to be.
Wow.
Anytime you working outside the illegal authority of God, especially when you're dealing with trafficking, it will happen where you have that crash out, because God got to let you know, hey, that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
He let Abraham know, no, that's a big no-no. You can't pimp your wife out to the king. You can't do that. But he did. And that's the truth.
That's good.
Sarah was married to 2 men at the same time. Okay?
There's some wild stuff back there.
Baby, and you don't think it ain't happening today?
Yeah.
Even when the angels of the Lord came to Sodom and Gomorrah, and you look at Lot and his wife and his children, when the men came to town, they said, we here to be with them. And Lot was like, to be with who? The 2 women that came in. Wait, what? No, you can't have them. But who did Lot give to the men? He said, you can have my 2 daughters. We are still living the results of our fathers giving us away illegally to men who wanted to exploit us. That is the result that we are living. And we're seeing it time and time again. Who would have thought that was familiar trafficking? Nobody was thinking about familiar trafficking.
Yeah.
That's familiar trafficking? Yeah. He trafficked his children. He was willing to put them on the front line to be killed. Raped. Mutilated. Just all kind of debauchery, all kind of stuff. This was sorcery.
Yeah.
He gave them up. He didn't even ask for a bride's prize. Here you go. You can have them. You can't have the angels of the Lord, but you can have them.
Where do we go? Where do we what do we do? What do we do in life? That's great, but what do people do? What's the right response?
First of all, I would say this: the Lord is tired of us talking about trafficking without including His thoughts on this. He was against it from the beginning. How do we know? Because when Abraham had a baby with Hagar, he was mad.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't so much that he had a baby with Hagar. Hagar was an Egyptian slave. So that let me know right there from the beginning that God was against slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But He did it because His wife was impatient for the promise.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to stop. We got to get to a place where we stop being in a hurry for the promises of God, and we birthed out of Ishmael instead of waiting for Isaac.
Mm.
And we got to know what our Isaac looked like. We got to govern our Isaacs. And our Isaacs are, number one, God. For a woman, I'm talking about a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband, then you, then them children. We out of order.
Mm.
We got to consecrate and start praying for the nucleus of the family. This is a corporate blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just get to have a family and idolize being a wife because you couldn't wait to get married. No, being a wife take work. Okay?
Yeah.
A wise woman build a house, but a foolish woman to pluck it down with her hands. I'm not saying that children won't do stuff that they not supposed to do. They will. But in the state of Texas, it's not a crime to be a runaway.
Yeah.
But it's a crime to harbor a runaway.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that.
This is how the enemy is taking us out.
Yeah.
Because we are creating and writing more laws than we know about.
Then we even enforce.
We do enforce that. We enforce taking
I'm
people
thinking
to jail.
of others. I'm thinking of other laws that we have where, we're now buying sex as a felony.
It is. Buying or selling is a felony.
But cases that are being successful, not so high.
Right. So right now we probably
that's what I'm
have,
saying is there's some the best lawyers go to where the money is.
absolutely.
And support and defend. And we see that. Even though the laws exist.
Absolutely. So
our actual closing on the laws is much harder.
Right. So to add some value to your perspective, we have about 206 cases of human trafficking, right, in Harris County. But we have about 15,000 people who have been trafficked,
right,
or just dealing with it,
right,
in Harris County. Okay. But while we only have 206, and we got about 15,000.
Yeah.
And so that's where
There's
the
more to
disparity.
do.
All right, there's major disparities. For instance, we still haven't figured out how we're going to codify trafficking. So and let me put it in perspective for you. When somebody is can I say sex?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been saying it
Have
all
you
the
been trying
time.
not to say sex?
I've been trying not
you
to
say
say
all the
it.
words you like on this show.
Okay, so when you're a sex offender,
yeah, you've been trying not to say.
I've been
I thought you were trying to recategorize. I'm like, say sex all you like.
You codify a sex offender, and they have to register, right? You have to register. Well, when you get released from jail for pimping and pandering, how do you codify that? Do they not have to register?
They don't.
So we haven't codified this. These are systems.
I see what you're saying.
Do you see what I'm saying? These are systems that we're allowing to break us. So
There's
where do they fit at on the volunteer list? Do they still get the volunteer? How is that registering with TCIC and NCIC? And here's why this is a major problem to me for all of us. Because prostitution and TCIC and NCIC, which is these are the federal registries on when people are going to jail for these crimes, and the officer is using this as a charging instrument to go to the DA's office to say, hey, this is what we're charging this person for this crime. This is what it's going to read on the record. It looks like prostitution. It reads prostitution, but prostitution is really a crime of moral turpitude. Well, what the hell is moral turpitude? Well, moral turpitude is the equivalent of theft, petty theft, stealing, or robbery. Well, nobody's telling the women that are being arrested for prostitution that they're really going to jail for theft, petty theft, robbery, or stealing. Hence the reason why they get out of jail. They can't start their lives over because you can't get a job if you've been arrested for stealing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was stealing. But if I was sleeping with John and he owed me money, who did I rob?
Mm.
The government. Why? Because you can't tax your titties.
Mm. There you go. That's the main line. We're going to put that one on the show.
Don't tax my titties. You better. I say it everywhere I go.
You can say it. I got to
unapologetically.
That's good.
Don't tax my titties.
I like it.
Yeah. You can't pay taxes on this. Why? Because it's slavery.
Yeah.
It is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying, okay, well, we're arresting the Johns. Okay, how do you codify that? Are you codifying that? Right? Because I've seen Johns. I was indirectly a part of an operation that happened in Fort Bend.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian Middleton is an amazing DA. I love him and his wonderful wife.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I love them.
Yep.
And we had an incident where there was this particular woman whose husband was arrested for buying sex online from a minor. But this particular person, the arrest happened, all of that. This particular person thought it would be okay to bring her husband around myself and my children.
Yeah.
Knowing I'm a survivor. She's been knowing me for years. And thought that was okay.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And then had a nerve to take pictures with me and my kids and her husband and the camera. So they sent the picture. Other people that knew about his arrest seen me in the picture with him. They took the picture to shop the picture. It was actually Jennifer Holman who got wind of the picture because they were trying to run the picture on Houston Chronicle and say, why was I in the picture with the dude that just got arrested for doing debauchery? Okay.
Wild.
If that advocacy hadn't never happened, and if people didn't know my character, then it would have looked like that I was co-signing behavior that I'm completely against.
Yeah.
But if we had a system of codification, then he would have been in a position where you can't be, even if a small codification, you can't be within 100 feet of a survivor of trafficking.
Yeah.
Not just that trafficker, that particular victim, the victim that you were going for that you didn't get a chance to get, or any other victims.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Not protecting anyone.
Not protecting anyone. So we need that.
Yeah.
These are the things that we're not thinking about. If more moms came together and say, hold on, why did we codify sex offenders? We could codify whether or not we know how close they are to our children or to our schools. How come we don't know when somebody's being arrested after they've been arrested for pimping and pandering or any type of force, fraud, or coercion, which you don't need force, fraud, or coercion to prove trafficking for a minor.
Yeah.
But why don't we have that for our schools? Why don't we have that? Even if you have an HOA, why don't we have that in our HOA? Hey, have you ever been arrested for pimping and pandering? What we do have on there is assault. We're clear about assault.
Yeah.
But we're not clear on pimping and pandering.
Way behind.
So far behind. And then we get into this ugly, grueling discussion about domestic violence versus human trafficking. Okay? The problem with the DV victims and human trafficking victims, and it's not so much as a problem, we're talking about two different demonic entities. They operate the same, they look the same, but they operate differently. DV victims get more support and they get more monies because these women are not income producing. These women are looked at as women that are not necessarily lesser than, but they are more of a widow type woman. And widows don't mean that your husband died. It just means that you have less support and you don't have anybody to cover you. So we need to cover you. You know, we need to financially make sure that you are okay because why? You have the children and you are are the protector of the children, so we need to make sure that you have what you need to protect the children. Whereas a human trafficking victim, we're considered income producing. It's just that where we making our money at, or how we're making our money, or whatever, isn't something that supports the family needs, right? Like, we don't participate in the corporate arrangement, which is taxes, which is, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, short-term, long-term disability.
No help, no support.
We've been taking all of this money for so long. So then why should we give you more money when you've already been taking money? And that's not true. Yeah, I was giving money, but I was under a different mindset. I was serving a different deity. This God was not my God. I didn't know who I was. And so that is the juncture position between these different demonic entities, So the real fight is the moms getting back into order with the way God aligned it for us to have it, right? And for our men to get back into positions of authority. We lost our place as women. But our men lost their place as men.
Yeah.
They wanted, I feel like the men kind of feel like, they worked so hard and they did so much that now, they want to relax and take a break. And in between trying to relax and take a break, if whatever problem was going on didn't directly affect them or their family, they felt like, they could overlook it, or they didn't have to deal with it, or they didn't have to manage it, or they didn't have to, create a resource for it and stuff. And this is what we learned throughout the, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob lineage. Whatever they did, it wasn't just for them, it was for everybody else. That's some of the takeaways that, what I'm saying, that we should be learning. We forget that's how powerful God's technology is, that he allowed us to borrow. It's ancient wisdoms that are for today. This is all about power, strategy, and long game warfare.
Yeah.
You cannot fight trafficking with a short-term plan.
No.
This is a long game warfare strategy that is going to take you having to look at Esther a little bit differently. That's going to have to get you to stop calling Rahab just a prostitute and she died a queen and she was called a mother in the book of Matthew. You got to stop looking at her just like that. You got to really delve into what you think prostitution is, because Rahab was not a prostitute the way we thought she was. Right. She could only sleep with who the king told her to sleep with. So here it is. She's recognized as a sex trafficking victim. But sex trafficking wasn't a word in the biblical days, just like pimp wasn't a word in biblical days. The word pimp, the ancient word for pimp, is fishmonger. So this would explain the reason why God or Jesus told Peter, he was like, look, I'm going to make you're going to be a fisherman, but you're going to be a fisher of men. A fisher of men and not fish. Why? Because the opposite of a fisher of men was a fishmonger, which was a pimp. Okay? That's ancient word. People ain't sitting down. What? No, that is what it is. This is the reason why when we see people like Mary Magdalene, who really helped us understand sex trafficking, really brought this story to life, really honed in to it. We knew she was from Magdalena. Magdalena was a fish farm. God is so amazing. It was a fish farm. It was a fishery. How did you catch fish? Did you do it with a hook? Did you do it with a fishing rod? No, you did it with a net. So could you imagine what Mary Magdalene looked like when they presented her to Jesus? She was wearing fishnet. This is the reason why still today women who wear fishnet stockings are called prostitutes or considered women of the night. We don't just pull this stuff out of nowhere. We don't know the history.
And there you have it.
And there you have it.
Back preaching on TV, the way you started listening on television. Here you are.
Here I am.
Having church.
Having church. I wouldn't even try it. David, is this what you wanted?
That's fine. Whatever you want is fine.
Whatever I want is fine.
I'm good.
Okay. Did you have any more questions?
No, I think it's good. We ran long, so it's good. But thank you. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Appreciate all that you're doing, all the work that you've done in this space, and it's great to have you on.
Oh, I'm so grateful.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.